Hi guys, Adrian here, the Porsche lover. For today's video, I'll be doing something different from the usual. As my usual videos would know, I will focus on topics such as Porsches, technical matters, and car-related matters. For today, I'd like to focus on something very different, which is my passion for horology or watches. A question that came to my mind recently was, if Porsche was a brand, a watch brand, what brand would Porsche be? As usual, we'll start with a wristwatch check. So my wrist today is a Rolex Datejust 1601. This is from the year circa 1970-71 and comes with a matte dark grey dial. Today I'm wearing on my Jubilee bracelet, which in my opinion is one of the most comfortable stainless steel bracelet ever made for a watch. I could wear it for long periods of time and it feels very comfortable. At the same time, this comes with the classic 36mm size, which some people might think is too small in today's time, but for me it's perfect because it's so easy to wear. Alright, back to the topic at hand. I think I have given the answer away by the watch brand I'm wearing today. So in my opinion, I feel that Porsche would be a Rolex if it was a watch brand. Let me share with you my thoughts on why I think this is, and of course you're most welcome to comment down below once you hear it out. Okay, first off, both brands actually didn't start off as a luxury brand. They wanted to design tools to meet a specific purpose. Let me give you an example. One of the first earliest Porsches will be the Porsche 356. So at the time, Porsche wanted to design a nimble, lightweight car which could handle very well, because they've actually found out that, let's say if you had a lightweight car which is sufficiently powered, it will be way more fun to drive than a car which is larger, heavier, and of course overpowered. So hence that was the design ethos behind the very first Porsches, and that actually has trickled down over the years to the modern Porsches that you see nowadays. So the same design ethos actually applies to Rolex as well. If you see the Rolex, one of the iconic Rolex will be the GMT. So the GMT was designed because Pan Am actually went to Rolex and said, hey bro, help me design a watch for my pilots because I want them to tell dual time zones. So hence, one of the very first GMT watches came out, which was a Pepsi back in the 50s. That same design ethos actually went on for the other watches. So you can see like the Submariner, it was designed for diving. The Mugos was designed for scientists working in the areas which have a lot of electromagnetic fields. At the end of the day, it's actually meant to be used as a tool first instead of being a luxury brand, unbeknownst to most. That is the history for Porsches and also for Rolex. The second point as to why I think both brands are very similar is the timeless design. So if you look at the Porsche 911, a Porsche 911 from 2021 still has the same feel. That means if you look at the car right now, you know it's a Porsche 911. If you look at an older 1970s or 1980s Porsche 911, you still know it's a 911. So that same design ethos is very, very similar. Same as to the Submariner. If you see a Submariner from the early days, the first gen Submariner, compared to a latest Submariner, it will still be the same design. So the design is timeless, the language. At the same time, the design language is also incremental instead of evolutionary. So at the end of the day, sometimes some people might be hard pressed to tell the difference between two models of Porsche. Let's say for example the 997 and 991. A lot of people think that, oh, it's very similar, but of course if you're enthusiast, they immediately can tell you, okay, this is 997.1, it's a C2S, it has this. Similarly to a Rolex, so Rolex has so many different variations where initially they're using acrylic glass, then subsequently upgrade to sapphire, then from the aluminium bezel inserts to the Cerachrome ceramic bezel inserts. So these are the things that I love about the cars, because as a watch geek and a car geek, I like to geek out about these little details. So if you are a fan of them, definitely you will say that, oh okay, I will know the differences between the watches or the cars itself. Which comes to my third point, which is details. Details matters if you're buying a Porsche or buying watches. So we talk about Porsche 911s, you are very hard pressed to find two exact same models, because you can spec the color, can be silver, can be guards red, can be racing yellow. Then you can spec the internals, the engine, you can spec the PASM sport absorbers, you also can spec the stitching or the emblem embossed onto the seat itself. So the design variants or the design combinations are endless. Same like Rolex watches. So, and then if you talk about, let's say, a date just the 1601 I'm wearing, there is blue down, there is grey down, there's black down, there is Roman numerals for the hour markers, you have baton hands, you have the dolphin hands. There's so many type of differences. So all these details make the brand very interesting and lively, especially when you're talking to enthusiasts, because it's the enthusiasts that can see these little details. And I see the similarities between both cars, because when you get into buying a Porsche, a lot of people will be dumbstruck or hard pressed to find how to tell differences between the two models. Same like Rolexes. If you show a person a Rolex, let's say for example a Submariner from 2021 and a Submariner from 2017, they say that it looks almost the same. They can perhaps subconsciously they might see the difference, but they can't tell the differences. So that is the details that matters for both brands. Lastly, I'd like to talk about value retention. So if you look at Porsche cars, especially the older models, are actually going up, creeping up in value, especially the 997s, the 987s, which is just mind-blowing, insane. Of course, you don't talk about the air cools. Those air cools are of course stratospheric. I mean, their increase, their value is just crazy. So Rolex is doing the same thing as well. But the difference is that, let's say if you buy a new Rolex, especially the sport model, it's so hard to get a new Rolex from the AD or authorized dealers. As in Porsche, you can actually walk into a Recon dealer, you can walk into Porsche Malaysia, and you can actually get the car themselves. But however, if you're buying pre-loved or a used car or watch, it's very hard to get the spec that you want. So talk about the value retention. So better the spec of the cars, of course, better value. And you want to find back the exact same condition that you would like with the specs that you want, with the color they want, is very hard. So that actually creates a supply and demand issue where there is actually more demand than supply. Because imagine, let's say that the Boxer 97 behind me is going below 150,000 ringgit. For that price, you are getting a thoroughbred Porsche car, mid-engine, which handles better than the Porsche 911 in my opinion. So yeah, the value is just insanely good. So hence, these cars actually depreciate to a certain level and then it will go back up again, which is what they are doing right now. If you like this content, please give me a like button and subscribe to the channel. So let me know what your thoughts are, whether you agree or disagree. I would love to hear them. Please leave it in the comments down below. And let's say in the future, if you want to have more of this content, also let me know as well. In the meantime, please stay safe, take care, and I'll catch you in the next video.